In Jeremiah 29, Jeremiah's been given a message from God for the people of Israel. You see, Israel's been taken into exile by Babylon, and they want out. Their prophets are telling them, it's okay, God's going to get us out of here soon, we're going to go back home, everything's going to be back to normal. But Jeremiah comes to them and he says, listen guys, that's not true. God didn't send those prophets to you. He is going to rescue us. We are going to be freed from exile, but it's not going to be anytime soon. And while we're here, it's time to seek the welfare of the city that we live in, because in its welfare is our welfare. Likewise, we are exiles because we are not citizens of earth, but citizens of heaven. While I don't have any kind of secret information on the return of Jesus, I do know that there are plenty of things that the church can be praying for and engaging in right now until he does return. We wondered, what would it look like for the Great Commission to be applied to the prayer ministry, where people are praying for and engaging in the communities where God has sent them, because that is what is happening. So right now I'm in Thornville, but maybe you live in Granville or Utica, maybe you live in Zanesville or Buckeye Lake or New Lex, and you can be praying for things specific to your area that wouldn't necessarily be specific for the other communities that people otherwise are living in, because God is the one who has sent you specifically to your community. I can think of no greater welfare than to be praying for God to show himself to areas in school districts, to business leaders, to community leaders, to those who are working in social services. Maybe you know people and fire departments in those areas. So I think it's important to really engage regularly and actively and specifically for the places that God has sent you. So maybe you're thinking, well, I've never done this before, how do I do it? We'll have a guide at the Connect desk that you can pick up. And it's really just maybe some examples and some ways and topics that our leaders are currently praying for their communities. You don't have to get together in a large group. You can just pray, just you. You can gather your Bible study, you can get the family that you live with together, and then head out. So remember, we're not going to be meeting at the church. We're literally going to be walking out of our front doors as you're able to pray for community needs. If you know a community leader, so maybe you're friends with a teacher or school bus driver, somebody who works in a nursing home, somebody who's a police officer, maybe somebody in healthcare, reach out to them and ask them, how can we be praying for you specifically? And then write it down and then pray for them. And just as a personal note, I would add, follow back up with them. Pray for that issue for a couple of weeks. Really take some time to let the Lord use you in that, and then call them up and ask, how's it going? How's it going for that particular issue that we were talking about? Guys, I'm really excited to see the city on a hill, to see the light of the world sent out into the community. I cannot wait to hear of all the things that God does in and through you. I look forward to seeing how God uses you, Cornerstone Church.